All right, so my name is Victor Irizarry, originally from Puerto Rico, born and raised, been in Arizona for about 20 years. I'm an architect, designer, or architectural designer. I currently work for RSP Architects in Tempe, and I've been practicing design for about 20 years, I believe, in general.
I would love for you to go into a little more depth about where you were born and then where you were educated as well.
I went to the School of Puerto Rico, the School of Architecture in the University of Puerto Rico, and then came to Arizona to do my master's at ASU.
Oh, okay. How did you become passionate and involved in design?
I have multiple passions. I love design as much as I love storytelling, and I love architecture, and I love drawing. So, but for me, all of that it's under the same umbrella. So my passion has always been there since I was a little kid. Um, Not for buildings per se, but for the act of creating something. That concept of just kind of expanding my imagination. When I think of design and I think of passion, my passion for design, all these things are to me connected.
So, what are your core design values?
So my core values. As a human, I want to experience change. As a teacher, I want to understand change. As an architect, I want to be change. So as a human, for example, I want to make sure that everything I do and everything I am part of, it's contributing towards the bigger picture.
What would you say is your design process?
So for me, my design process always, I start with suspending my disbelief and just kind of letting loose with ideas. And then I create a story, and I always trying to match that story with some visual cues. Whenever we're dealing with the clients or we're working with our clients or with anybody, I'm constantly thinking, okay, what's the story? What's the story of the project? Why are we doing this? Ultimately, at the end, the client or the user is going to have their own story. And if you helped craft that story early in the process and they were part of it, they become owners of that story.
How do you collaborate with other individuals to realize your impactful work?
Calls, a lot of interactive meetings, a lot of questions, a lot of presentations, but communication is a really important tool. Ideally, we have drawings to react to, but when you have a picture of it in front of you, you're like, okay, that's what we're talking about.
Where is design going?
Where is it going? It's going where you think it needs to go. I think the world is at your hands to change the way we see things and we do things. I feel that now with the way things are changing, people are becoming more and more aware that design is very critical.
Yeah.
I do think that designers, especially architects, need to start changing the way we see the world.
What are the biggest challenges that you face?
For me, as an individual, and when I was a student, I think the biggest challenges were cultural more than anything. I have had experiences where um, I had the hardest time picking up the phone and trying to communicate with somebody because I was self-conscious about my accent, and that why the drawings became such an important thing to me, because now I can use drawings as my subtitles to what I'm trying to say. I think the biggest challenge is it's how fast things are going.
What advice would you give to young students?
What advice? I listen. Listen to your peers, listen to your mentors, listen to your clients, listen to yourself. Uh, Take criticism not personally. Develop really good friendships as a student. Develop friendships with your colleagues or even your professors, because later on you will be working with them.
Thank you so much again. This was really fun.
Thank you.
I enjoyed this a lot. This was a really good conversation.